What's up, guys, and welcome back to another video. You may notice this box that is just taking up a bunch of space in the frame. In this box is a 2001 Mac computer, equivalent to, say, a Mac Pro of today. I'm afraid that this computer may be in pieces because you may notice right here that this is a display, a keyboard, and then a hole. Turns out when you put just stuff in a box without any protection and ship it across the country, it gets damaged. That's what that is. All right, let's move the display and keyboard aside and get into this box. And there's the computer. Thankfully, still in one piece. Remarkably, none of the plastic legs broke off. According to everymac.com, it's 31 pounds. I can believe it. And when you put something that weighs this much in a box that's practically empty space, it's not a very good idea. The images in the listing were very unclear, and the description was basically copy-pasted from somewhere. The reason I got this was obviously so you'd subscribe to my channel, but also, what can a 24-year-old Mac do? And that is the door. So we have a look inside the computer. It actually looks quite clean. I don't think anything fell apart, and seriously, for it to have opened the box with so much empty space, this thing rattled around hard. I mean, it came from Ohio, which apparently is a real place. I didn't know that. The computer looks pretty clean inside. Look, that's the graphics card. Do you see that thing? Anyone know what this cable's for? This computer is supposed to power on. The seller even told me the password is 1234. Let's shut this door. See, does it just shut in like that? This is a plastic computer, by the way. I'm going to position it about like this. The fan is going this way. That way, it won't be blowing all that dusty filth in my face. And then this here would be the display that people used with it. A studio display. They still make a studio display, but this one is obviously much, much older. Just look at those bezels. And I'm also wondering why the stand fell off. Oh yeah, you see that metal there? The stand actually broke off in shipping. Here's something let's try. I got this, the kilowatt. We'll see how much energy this thing is using. I've actually never opened this before. Gosh, nice. Guys, I plugged it in through the handle. You can see it. Isn't that genius? I've got the yellow as urine power cord, back when they had transparent ports. It's at 0 watts. It just arced, actually. Uh-oh. It just beeped. That doesn't sound good. Is it gonna blow up? Oh, there's your Apple logo. Oh, look, it actually booted. Got me an Apple mouse. It's considerably newer than this computer, but hey, plug it into the USB port on the keyboard. Oh, there, that's Finder. The computer's loaded in. Oh my gosh, guys, 768 megabytes of RAM. It's not even DDR, it's SD RAM. Oh God. Chilling at 104 watts, just having, what, one app open? Oh no, we still got iMovie open. I pressed the eject key and it opened that. That's what it's supposed to do. That's what I was trying to do. Shut. Good. Remember when computers could eat circular discs? Shut the computer down. Now it's using 8 watts, just being plugged into power. That's right, kids. When things aren't turned on, they still use electricity. I paid over $150 for this computer, the monitor, and the keyboard. They all came together. Of course, that's the listing image. And obviously, I was disappointed when the stand was broken, which kind of defeats the purpose of getting it with a monitor. That was mostly why I was interested in this particular listing, because usually it wouldn't come with a monitor, and usually the seller would be trying to charge an additional upcharge for that. And yes, over $150 is quite a lot for such an old setup, but most of the cost in something like this is the shipping, because after all, the computer is over 31 pounds, and that monitor is actually not that light. Anyway, it's whatever. And back when it was new, it was obviously not so cheap. In 2001, the cost of this setup was just about $2,700, and that does not count the options that the computer shipped with. I actually cannot figure out what the additional upcharges were that Apple had back then. I couldn't find any information. This thing was actually not the base model because it had the upgraded RAM, not maxed out, but the base would have been 128 megabytes, and this thing had 256 megabytes installed from Apple, because I can tell by that serial number sticker on the back. I didn't even mention the inflation adjusted amount that this would have cost. This $2,700 setup is equivalent to about $5,000 in 2024 money, and that's in modern money. Imagine spending that much on a computer setup, how fast of one you could get. Well, this is that, but in 2001, and this display here was quite something back then, because obviously it's not a CRT. And also, you see this cord, how it's just one cord. That is the power cord and display cord all in one. The graphics card provides power and display data, so that means this connector is quite sketchy, considering it does not have shielding. That is obviously not Apple's fault, though. This particular display is just not in all that great a condition. That hinge is busted. That's something that's majorly wrong with it, because this not $1,000 stand is useless as it is now, because because this metal piece that screws into the stand is actually supposed to be permanently attached to the display. But the fact that the hinge is broken is not the display's fault. It got damaged in shipping, and that would be the seller's negligence when it came to packing. But anyway, let's set this display aside for now and actually see what this computer can do. You may notice how a monitor has appeared in front of me. That will be because this computer is now plugged into it, and I'm going to see if I can make this thing give up. Which won't be hard considering it's a 24-year-old computer. I have this plugged into it, a 40 gigabyte FireWire hard drive with some files and software. Let's see if it can play something simple, at least simple for a computer that isn't ancient. I've got a Minecraft video I made in 2021. It's 1440p. Oh boy, this thing is not gonna like playing this. It actually loaded, but why is it like way too big? Fit to screen. Oh, there it goes. I'm worried about pressing this play button. Let's see what it does. Okay, guys, it's playing, but it's playing at 0 frames per second. Okay, obviously, a 24-year-old computer cannot play 1440p video. The frame hasn't changed. It's been showing that same image the whole time. Let's turn up the volume. Wait, I hear myself. One of the potato talismans that I sold a few days ago. What happens if I press pause? Oh, it changes. You can press play. It'll play the audio, but it'll only change the image it's showing when you press pause. Okay, let's try 1080p and H.264, which is less than 1440p. This is my recent supporter video. Let's open that up. Oh my, there's my ugly face. Got the spinning wheel of death, 11 seconds in. The audio is cutting in and out, and it's playing at about, oh, I don't know, 1 frame per few seconds. Well, it's doing slightly better. I can at least look at the thumbnail, right? Oh, it's doing that. Good for it. What happens if I increase the exposure? Oh no, you guys can't tell, but oh there. Oh my gosh, this is so delayed. I'm just trying to change the exposure. That's a very nice thumbnail there. Don't save, go away. No luck with high resolution video. It's almost like a computer from 2001 wasn't designed to support 1080p or 1440p video files, and also the codecs and stuff it's all encoded with. What a surprise. But software, can we run games? Can we game on this? Starting off with peak gaming. Kids pics. Anybody remember this? I tried to draw a house, but I'm just not great at drawing. And I tried to do it in a childish way, but it just ended up being worse than a child could do. I mean, I'm really bad at art, unless you call these videos art, in which case you should subscribe to my channel. I thought it would be fun to play Quake 3 on this G4 on the Nightmare difficulty, which is the hardest difficulty. Well, it turns out I got absolutely obliterated. I didn't even get a kill on the AI. It's almost like it's not fair when you play on the hardest difficulty. Kind of made me a little frustrated. And here's a game I played a lot as a kid. It runs fine on this because of course it does. Midnight Mansion. It's a puzzle game which I probably didn't understand when I was, what, 6 years old playing it on a PowerMac G3. I also tried to run Civilization 4 on this machine. It didn't go well. There were glitched textures. Also, the loading video was playing at like 3 frames per second. It was pretty sad. That's all the games I tested. If you guys have any you want me to test in the future, do let me know. I installed a program that monitors the CPU usage. You can see it's now at 1% for some reason. Let's see what this computer makes of this. It's an Apple webcam from 2003. Look, FireWire. Let's plug it into the computer. Oh, it's opening up iChat. That's what came before FaceTime and iMessage. iChat. Let's look at a video preview and see what this thing thinks of it. Camera off? No. Let's turn the camera on. Oh, it's not lagging, guys. It's just very low quality because it's ancient. How are you guys? It's actually doing a lot better with this than I thought. I was expecting it to stutter. Let's see if I can make it use 100% of the CPU. It does not like me moving it around the screen this much. Look at that graph climb. After all this filming, I finally noticed a problem with the computer, and that would be that the power button is not right. Do you see that picture? It's a little bit crooked in there. All the buttons are. Well, for some reason, the power button was permanently depressed. Yes, it was very sad. Whenever I plugged it into power, it would arc and turn the computer on immediately. I didn't really think much of this. I was just like, well, whatever, let's just plow on with the video and see what this thing can do. But I realized I could fix it quite easily. With the machine open, there's a metal cover I need to remove that covers up this board, which is what controls the power button. That's not the problem. The problem is the plastic bit, which does not spring back. If you push it in, it just stays pushed. So what I needed to do is get a better look at the mechanism for the button. I had to take the front panel off. Before I could even do that, I needed to remove the handles, and clouds of dust erupted as I did that. This thing is a lot more dusty than I initially realized, even though it looks kind of clean inside. After the handles were removed, I could use a screwdriver to maneuver some metal clips that were clipping it on, and then it just comes right off. And that actually revealed what causes the power button to be a button, just plastic that's molded to itself that acts as a spring. Thankfully, it actually wasn't broken. For some reason, cleaning it made it work again. And I kid you not, that actually is what made it be springy again. I cleaned it. I'm glad what I did worked because I actually couldn't have fixed it if it had actually been snapped. That's right, it took 41 seconds from the time I pressed the button for it to actually be at the login screen. Old computers were not all that fast. Seeing as I've taken the computer's handles off and noticed all that dust, why not take the panels off and do a bit of a cleaning? I took that front panel back off, then the side panel. Crash. That's right, I wasn't holding it when I released it. And then there's that top panel. I left the other ones on because I think I'd have to go through more of a process to actually take them off. I started by cleaning the remaining side panel on the computer. Actually, it cleaned up better than I thought it would. There really isn't that many scratches on it considering it's a plastic case and would scratch quite easily. And especially considering how it was shipped, I'm astounded that it isn't worse. And then there's the metal undercase. This was much dirtier than I would have thought just by looking at it. Then there's the front, bottom, and other side all cleaned now. Then I can move the heavy computer aside and start on the top panel. Cleaning it revealed some tape, which I then had to remove. And then I noticed another piece that was there for some reason. Why would you randomly put tape on your computer? I made sure the top and bottom were clean and then moved on to the front panel, which I gave a more thorough cleaning than I did initially. Again, these things were surprisingly dirty considering they didn't even look dirty to begin with. There's the other side panel, which was by far the worst condition one of the entire computer. But after spending nearly 5 minutes of my life cleaning the side panel of this nearly 25-year-old computer, it was much cleaner than it was before. I'm surprised at how well it turned out. Moving on to the handles and the other bits of plastic, I did label the handles, and I don't think it matters apart from the top and bottom distinction. And these also turned out much better than I would have thought. After cleaning them, you really can't tell they have scratches, and I don't even think they really have scratches. And then after cleaning the random bits of plastic, it was time to assemble the computer. A little tip for the top panel, notice how those clips are shaped, so you actually put it on in the opposite way of you taking it off. You slide it forward. There's only a few things left. We're almost done now. There's the other side panel and its 4 screws. That front panel needs to go back on, and finally the handles. When putting on the bottom handles, do not forget that random bit of plastic, as you need to put it in before you do the handle. The last piece of the computer to put on is the mouth of the CD drive, and I spent over 2 minutes trying to install the CD drive door backwards. And then when I realized I didn't have too hard of a time actually putting it on the right way. I don't know what I was thinking. The last thing to do is to put back in that housing that covers up the power button circuitry, and then that's it. I did briefly wipe down the inside, but it really wasn't all that bad. Just look at it. It is quite nice inside, and I did take some funny pictures. I put a light inside the computer, and that's what it looks like with the light inside of it. The computer really is in quite good condition, especially considering how it was shipped, and I'm glad it is not in as poor a condition as this monitor, which I'll admit was a disappointment, because really it's kind of useless as it is, even though it works, because I cannot use it with a stand, and that was mostly why I decided to waste all this money on this computer. Well, waste is a subjective word. I bought it for this video because it would be fun. Yes, you had fun watching this video, right? Anyway, if you did, subscribe or you're bad, and thank you to my supporters for making these videos possible. Whenever I upload, there's also a video for the supporters, and I'll show you guys around my setup this time because I obtained more shelves to store all the crap I've been buying. I have like 30 or 40 unopened boxes from eBay, that much or more in unopened shipping bags. I have tons of stuff that I bought for videos. So much stuff is coming. If you want to, well, support me, become a supporter on YouTube or Patreon today, and get access to a lot of exclusive videos. If you have any suggestions, if you want to see another video about this Mac in the future, do let me know. Put them in the comments below. But until next time, subscribe.